All right, a very good morning to you and you're welcome to the program. It's Good Morning Ghana and it's the 6th of May, 2024. And we thank Almighty for giving us yet another day to go through the issues of the country. Let's start going through the headlines of the newspapers, and I start off with the Daily Graphic. Daily Graphic says that voter registration EC deploys logistics. Voter registration EC deploys logistics. FBN Bank rebrands to First Bank. FBN Bank rebrands to First Bank. Asante Hene stamps unveiled. Asante Hene stamps unveiled. Ghanaian Times will provide free tertiary education for PWDS. Dr. Bawumia promises. 800 displaced properties destroyed at Gushegu following severe rainstorm. Ghana makes strides in press freedom. Leap to increase grant 100% by end of year ministry. Daily Guide. Otumfuo stamp unveiled. OSP cleared Cecilia Dapa, not AG. Dummy. OSP cleared Cecilia Dapa, not AG. Dummy. December polls will be peaceful. Nana. Kaswa soldier killer caged. I'll prioritize PWDS scholarship. Bawumia. The New Crusading Guide. We must consolidate our ranking on World Press Freedom Index. GJA. NDC Secretary defrauds Ghanaian resident in London of 220,620 Ghana cedi CID petition to cause his arrest. Bryce Simmons got his 2020 cost per voter wrong. Bawumia promises free tertiary education for PWDS. Allegations of bribery against Nenetete, Lonu Okumo IV. The Insight. Adamus Resources Saga, Angela lists Minister Amewu accused of frustrating IMC set up by courts to run mining company. Dr. Mwakuba, he says the AG has joined protection of the state looters. ActionAid joins calls for government to halt commercialization of GMO foods. And then we also have falling city. Policy expert blames government over reliance on IMF, World Bank. Without struggle, there is no victory in battle against imperialism. Battle against imperialism without struggle, there is no victory. The Herald, Akufo-Addo's prophecy for Cecilia Dapa comes true. Under pressure, Godfrey Dami blames OSP and IOCO. Cocoa Board retirees were rehired to prosecute Opuni Agongo. Societe Generale Bank, other multinationals declared Ghana unprofitable, closed down and leaving. Soldiers killer in Trigger happy. Soldiers killer in Trigger happy. Landowner recounts ordeal. New GRA boss hurriedly reinstates SML family bonanza without governing board and parliamentary approved. The Informer. PWDS grab education package. Press freedom. Ghana improves record. Mahama urges more. Closure of Cecilia Dapa case. CDD chastises Yoko. Jospon boss praises staff. And the top right corner in this issue, LPG at consumers' doorstep, NPA assures. The Inquisitor, a minister from Eastern Region to DMB, make me running mates and cash for campaign won't be a problem. CDD Ghana boss punches AG over Cecilia Dapa. Pay journalists well. FMI on WPF Day. 21 African countries anti-corruption agencies storm Ghana for conference. The top right corner has chief arrested for acid attack on community members. The Daily Statesman. Otumfuo's 25-year journey extolled. OSP cleared Cecilia Dapa of corruption offense. AG clarifies. Government programs drive up press freedom ratings. Free tertiary education for AII PWDS under Baumia. NDC secretary reported to police for fraud. That's the Daily Searchlight. Abuacher Festival, Ekufuado, a voice drama, did not have heart to order Nananum to stand for him. Baumia convoy blocked at Nadieso in Eastern Region. Do you know this man? He is wanted by the Adenta police for fraud. And then you are in Daily Searchlight. Your print is very bad. We can't see. It says that you are the foundation of this company. Dr. Japon tells Jospon Zoom Lion employees at Derba. NPA engaged Finance Ministry to consider removing taxes on LPG. The Ghanaian publisher, majority petition speaker to recall Parliament. Akufo-Addo pledges peaceful election. Baumia promises PWDS free tertiary education. Bright Simmons got his 2020 cost per voter wrong, EC. Improved press freedom ranking. Government attributes success to media support program. The custodian. Baumia pledges full scholarship for PWDS at tertiary level. Majority caucus petitions Baumia to recall Parliament. NPA moved to reduce taxes on LPG. NPP leads NDC in Imani's public sentiment analysis. And then we also have I never bribed EC officials, Kingsley Nyako. Media support programs improve Ghana's press freedom ranking. The Finder. Access Bank Ghana PLC recalls commendable financial growth in first quarter 2024. Minister designate attributes improves press freedom ranking to media support programs. Full tertiary education scholarship for PWDS Dr. Baumia. Otumfor receives terms for Ghana Post in honor of his silver jubilee. Daily Post. CEO of Ghana Gas Company under pressure to sign dubious $812 million Ghana Gas Phase 2 contract for President Akufo-Addo's secretary Asante Bedieto's son. Angela List accused again of frustrating IMF setup by court to manage Adamu's resources. NDC Atlanta raises funds to support 2024 general elections. All right, that's what we have for you for the headlines newspapers this morning. Let's go for a breather. I'll be back shortly. All right, you're welcome back to the program. It's still Good Morning, Ghana. And I already have with me in the studio Professor Benedict Ayaya Fusumensa, who is a member of the NDC and also a lecturer. Prof, you're welcome. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining us. I think it's been a hot morning for both parties. yeah, for both parties. But thank you for your time. You're welcome. You're welcome. And we're expecting Hajia Rabi Salifu, who is also Deputy Communications Director for the NPP, and she will join us pretty shortly. I think she's just running a little bit late, but she'll be here with us soon. Now, Prof, how's campaign going? Are you even officially, have you started campaigning?
Oh, campaign have started. Once we elected our flag bearer somewhere last year, campaign have already started, so it's ongoing. So far, so good.
What's going on the ground? Have you gotten reports? I know you are not with Mahama on the ground, but what are you receiving? What's the
report? He's going around doing, touring the various regions and touching base with the people, trying to know what the challenges they are facing. As you always know that NDC does not just stay in a room and come out with a document that we call manifesto, but try to touch base with the people to know what their challenges are and incorporate it into the manifesto. And that is why 2020 manifesto was named as the People's Manifesto, because whatever was in there were ideas that people had, or what the people want to see, were what was incorporated into the manifesto. So, of course, he's going around, he's touching base, and as you all know, his slogan being "Building the Ghana we want together," which means that you are not just excluded in terms of governance, but everybody will bring on board to build the Ghana that we all want to see in the near future. And so the campaign is heating up. He's going around, and we can see the massive support that he has anytime he goes to the various constituencies and to the various regions. So far, so good. NDC is cheering up towards the main election come December 7th.
I'm told that this year's manifesto will also be christened the People's Manifesto, the same caption.
Well, there's a structure, within the party that the party follows in order to name or have the theme for the manifestos that are developed. But what we know is that NDC always try to seek opinion, ideas, what the people feel, the people on the ground, what they feel, and what they want to see in the coming years as far as development is concerned, as far as their needs are concerned. We want to incorporate all these into the manifesto. And so if we call it the People's Manifesto, it's just to tell Ghanaians that the idea or whatever the NDC, and for that matter, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama administration wants to roll out are things that Ghanaians see as needs, are things that Ghanaians would cherish. And so it is not a situation where the government and the leaders are out of touch of the people, but will really provide the needs of the people, because the policies there are policies that the people said, this is what we want. And so they feel included or being part of the governance that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama would take over come December or come January 2025.
So this morning we also received a statement from the Bawumia campaign team, and is also titled "Bawumia Concludes Phase 1 Campaign Tour for Eastern, Western, and Western North regions. So the flag bearer of the new Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, as promised, kicked off this 2024 campaign and has since visited the Eastern, Western, and Western North regions. Each of the regions, Dr. Bawumia engaged religious leaders, traditional authority, youth groups, and other key stakeholders, as well as a rigorous door-to-door street campaigning. So Dr. Bawumia continues to emphasize the fact that he is not corrupt, a character trait that is without argument and widely acclaimed by all. And he also continues to say that a prominent feature in his campaign is the Youth Connect platform, a platform for the flag bearer to engage the youth on specific youth-related issues, which places the young Ghanaian at the center of his vision for the next chapter of Ghana's development. In the Eastern region, participants of the Youth Connect were predominantly artisans and non-formal sector practitioners. Western region was with small-scale miners, and the Western North was mixed of youth from various backgrounds. Dr. Bawumia has, in the first week of campaigning, articulated very cogent policies to address the need of stakeholders he has engaged so far. On mining, we will license all miners during responsible mining. District mining committees, including chiefs, will provide initial temporary license to miners. We shall fully involve the traditional authorities in the licensing of small-scale miners, as long as miners mine with the limit of their licenses. No mining in river bodies yes, that's in an example that was cited in the statement. No mining in river or water bodies. There will no longer be any seizure of or burning of excavators. IV, every Ghanaian small-scale mining will register under Ghana Small-Scale Miners Association with the Ghana card. Further deepen the decentralization of Minerals Commission as well as the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, and ensure that they are present in all mining districts. VI, we will, in collaboration with the large mining companies, convert abandoned shafts into community mining schemes. VII, we shall open more new community mining schemes and facilitate the acquisition of mining equipment to help them scale up activities. And we shall also introduce vocational skills training and sustainable mining for all scale miners in the curriculum for TVET or of TVET institutions. And we shall establish a pension scheme for small-scale miners like we have done for cocoa farmers, set up state-of-the-art common user gold processing units in mining districts in collaboration with the private sector. We will encourage the exploration of Ghana's minerals resource with graduates from Ghana's training institutions actively involved in this endeavor. And we discourage, when discovered, we will raise the necessary capital for facilities to facilitate its exploration and ensure 100% Ghanaian ownership. To ensure 100% Ghanaian ownership of newly discovered resources and greater Ghanaian ownership of our resources, we will establish, in collaboration with the private sector, Minerals Development Bank to support mining industry. And in persons with disabilities, we have this one here. All persons with disabilities who gain admission to tertiary institutions shall be prioritized with government scholarship to cover their tuition and accommodation. And then to artisans, formalize the informal sector by infusing digitalization in the process, such as registering of businesses and tax audits, facilitate access to credit for the non-formal sector for expansion and increased productivity for more jobs. We shall also build hostel facilities for apprentices, just as we have done with the KIA to deal with accommodation issues, and support for the retraining of current workers on the modern tools in their vocation. We also have the first fisher folk. For the fisher folk, there are some promises here as well, and it's signed by Dennis Miracles Abwaji, Director of Communications, from Dr. Baumia. This is also what he has also decided, to do. But there is one, one I read, that is, all persons with disabilities who gain admission to certain institutions shall be prioritized with government scholarship, blah, blah, blah. I saw something making rounds over the weekend that it was in the NDC manifesto.
Yes.
That is the People's Manifesto, the 2020.
The 2020 manifesto. You can see, and good morning to our cherished viewers, and good morning to the NDC fraternity. I haven't really gone through that statement.
Yes, I think you have a copy.
Seeing it, but you can see that there is some amount of plagiarism or copying of ideas from NDC 2020 manifesto into the NPP current manifesto, and that just once again tells us the kind of people they are. You remember when His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo was sworn in 2017. I mean, he gave a very powerful speech, and a lot of Ghanaians were like, wow, this is powerful. Little did we know that portions of the speech happened to be pressurized speech from another president. So I am not surprised that we are seeing a couple of NDC's policy being stolen by this current government. But you see, it is not just the issue of putting policies in a document or assembly policies and say it's a manifesto and people vote based on what you promised to do. In 2017 or in the 2016 run-up, the MPP, used a lot of propaganda. They promised Ghanaians heaven. But currently, we are all experiencing what we can refer to as hell. We are seeing a depreciation in the cedi. In 2016, His Excellency Mahmoud Bawumia said he was going to arrest the dollar. Unfortunately, we've now seen that the cedi have broken jail. This morning, as we are talking, $1 to a cedi, $1, you need 13.75 Ghana cedis to purchase just $1. As at the time His Excellency Mahmoud Bawumia said things were hard, cedi to $1, you just need 4 Ghana cedis to purchase $1. Today, you need 13 cedis, 75 pesos to get $1. Again, during his time, he said what? Taxes increment or taxing a lot or increment in taxes hurt businesses. Today, we've seen that under their watch, they've introduced 40 new taxes. The time they were accusing His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's government as being corrupt, as a man who was incompetent, at that time, inflation was just 15.4%. Today, inflation is more than 20%. In fact, it went as high as 54%. So I am saying that it is not just the issue of copying somebody's manifesto and think that people will vote for you based on the manifesto that you will tell the people. Ghanaians have seen that this government is full of deceit. This government promised us heaven, but they have delivered hell. At the time when they accused His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's administration, unemployment was 8%. Today, unemployment have risen as high as 14.7%. The time they said things were not good, nurses are suffering, teachers are suffering, trotro drivers are suffering, maids are suffering. At that time, a gallon of petrol was 14 cedis. This morning, a liter of petrol is more than 15 Ghana cedis. So you can see that this government promised us heaven, but they are delivering hell. Our money, your salary in 2016, you can imagine the number of bags of cement you can buy if you intend to use your entire salary to buy it. Today, I'm sure that will not even buy a quarter of the quantity you could buy. 2016, we're buying a bag of cement for 23 Ghana cedis. This morning, or as we are talking now, cement is around 97 Ghana cedis. So as I said, they promised us so much in 2016. Ghanaians voted for them based on the promise and in their manifesto, the fact that there will be one district, one district, one dam, one village, one district, one factory, one village, one dam.
You can't forget now, the one this, one that.
Yes.
There are lots.
Now, the promised issue of planting for food and jobs. So the normal circumstance or what everybody expects is that it's a planting for food and jobs, just as the title indicates. It means that there will be a lot of food, and to mean that a lot of people will be employed. But today, what are we seeing? Skyrocketing of prices of food. In fact, when you look at the inflation and you just take the food basket inflation, it's happened to be one of the highest as far as inflation is concerned. 2016, you could buy a bag of maize for 80 Ghana cedis. Today, a bag of maize is going for 800 to 900 Ghana cedis. And so if the same government comes to tell us that they are going to do this or that based on their manifesto promises, we've seen a lot of such promises that they could not deliver. We've seen them promising the youth that they were going to employ them. Today, we are seeing youth unemployment, having risen from 25% to more than 30%. We are seeing an increase in inflation as far as prices of food is concerned. we are seeing unemployment increasing from 8% to 14%. So, of course, Bawumia can throw a lot of jargon out there that they are going to do this, they are going to do that. But it is not just about throwing figures or throwing words out there. It's about their scorecards. What is their scorecard today? What we can talk about their scorecard is corruption. What we can talk about their scorecard is hardship. What we can talk about their scorecard is increase in inflation, increase in the price of fuel. I mean, gas. A time when, people were encouraged to use clean energy, and so we're encouraging people who were using charcoal and firewood, for cooking to migrate to use of gas. Today, they cannot afford the gas again. So we are again getting a lot of people going back to using charcoal and firewood for cooking. When you look at the World Bank report 2020, it says that as of 2022, it said that 850,000 people have been pushed to the poverty line. Today, not just, I'm sure if they should take the statistics again, we would have seen further more people push into the poverty line, because you would notice that the value of our income have depreciated, I'm sure, more than 50% if we want to calculate. So if a government that is ruling or is governing today, we are seeing all this hardship, what else can they tell us that Ghanaians will believe? They promise us heaven. I just sent you a video, and that video just portrays a community that Mahmoud Bawumia and his convoy were visiting.
Yeah. The one they say was blocked.
Yes.
But they have denied that he was not blocked.
Yeah, but I mean, you see,
okay,
sometimes
if you have the video,
it's quite interesting when people come out to deny something that there's video evidence. There are things that you can see that this is what is happening. It's just like Dr. Kingsley, I've just forgotten, Nyako, who said he was not giving money to somebody, that it was a document he was giving to an EC official. When
no, he said he was not bribing.
He said it wasn't money, that it was a document he was giving.
Oh, he earlier on said it was a document. Okay,
exactly.
I didn't hear that.
Yes, he said it was document. Then later on, he said he was not bribing. It was just money he was giving to them for lunch. There was a clear evidence that this man was bribing an EC official, because at that time, there was an activity going on, and he denied it. So, of course, these people, if they tell you that, it's not Bawumia's convoy that was blocked, or they were not blocked, there are video evidence. So it just tells you that, look, these people have lost touch of the people. These people are just probably throwing dust in the eyes of Ghanaians. And now there's no amount of propaganda that can save them. Everybody is now aware about their deceits. They came to power by deceiving us. By the fact that when they came, the cedi at that time to $1 that was 4 cedis, they were going to bring it to 1 cedi to $1. They promised us that at that time that unemployment was 8%. They were going to reduce it to make sure that unemployment comes down to probably to 1% or even less, or there wouldn't be any Ghanaian unemployed. They were telling us that when they come to power, they were not going to, depend on taxes, because they were going to move from taxation to production. Today, I don't know, when you go to a shop and you buy items, if you look at the amount of, or the number of taxes on the item, it's unimaginable. It's unbelievable. I went to a company wanting to buy something, and they gave me an estimate. Look, Annie, it can't be funny. The tax alone was about 20,000 Ghana cedis. So the item is priced so high, but if you take the 20,000 out of the item, you will realize that the amount of money you were paying was far less.
The 10,000 was taxes you were paying?
Just taxes alone. Taxes alone was 20,000 Ghana cedis. And I'm like, how how can we grow as a country? How can the economy expand if taxes are so much? But yet they promised us that they were going to reduce taxes. I remember very well when His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa won the election in 2017 or December 2016. When you go to Abosokan, they reduced prices because for them, he promised that when he comes, he was going to reduce taxes on importation. And so they will be able to import more and be able to sell and make profit. Today, go to Abosokan and see. A car that in 2016 was sold for about 50,000. Today, you go, they are selling that same car for about 200,000 Ghana cedis. So how can you tell us that you can change things when we vote for you in 2020 December? This is a man who is part of government, or he said he called himself a driver, driver's mate. A mate that was in a car with a driver that have, driven the country into a ditch. That this morning, as we are talking, Ghana cannot go to the international market to borrow because they have borrowed so much that they cannot more borrow.
I mean, I hate to say this,
we are even told that even within Ghana, very soon they will not be able to go to the Ghanaian market to borrow. Because things are just, getting worse on daily basis. And the sad thing is that, look, people have advised this government that the only way we can have some breathing space is to cut down on government size, is to reduce your expenditure. Surprisingly, because this year is an election year, you see a lot of projects at different stages. As we are talking Agenda 111, each time they are always excited to tell us that they are building 111 district or hospitals. But you ask yourself, how many as of today?
I was just saying that, I hate to say it, but I mean, many occasions, the government and its officials has explained with Russia-Ukraine war and COVID. Recently, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo during the May Day celebration reiterated that it looks as though government has still not recovered from the shock of Russia-Ukraine war and COVID, for that matter. And it's as though you cannot make an analysis and ignore or pretend as though, well, that really hits the government, as they always repeat it.
You see, this is a government that has never taken responsibility for anything. They always blame everybody for anything that is happening in this country. Sometimes you ask yourself, but when you even go to Russia or you go to Ukraine, what is the inflation, the percent inflation? When you go to Russia, their inflation is not at 50%. Not even the 20 something. I think it's around 23 now. So we do not have inflation 20% in Russia, nor Ukraine.
But that's because of your dependency on them. I mean, if you depend on them for something, when there's a problem, you'll be hit more.
So fine, let's assume that we are dependent on Russia, Ukraine. But when you go to Togo, what about Burkina Faso? What about Mali? What about Côte d'Ivoire? What is the situation in this country? You go to this country, they have inflation less than 15%. And we are just surrounded by this country. And yet we think that Russia-Ukraine war troubles or difficulty jumped over all this country. And it's only Ghana that is suffering from Russia-Ukraine war. I'm sure that very soon they will start blaming Israel and then the Palestinian war as one of the reasons why we are having so a situation that they are always living in denial or refusing to even accept that so Israel. So for me, I see this government as a government that would not take responsibility for anything. They always run away from responsibility. But you see, a good leader is a leader that takes responsibility. As we saw, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama demonstrated in 2013, 2014, when there was challenges in the energy sector, and he said, I will fix it. And he did fix it by making sure that he brought in power generation company like Kapa, like ABBEY, and through that, he was able to resolve Dumsor before he left office in 2016. Sadly enough, these people could not even maintain what he brought, but instead, they just sat back and allowed things to deteriorate. The fund he established, ESLA, that was supposed to be used, to resolve challenges or fix challenges that are within the energy sector. What did they do? They used it as collateral to take more money and have spent the money. Now we are having issues of energy generation. What are they saying? They are saying that the problem is caused by ECG. Each time they get the slightest opportunity, they blame ECG for the power outages. They say they are doing maintenance. And then you ask yourself, how come suddenly ECG is having maintenance throughout the country? Instead of coming to tell Ghanaians we are having challenges of raising funds to pay power producers, of getting money to import gas, and that is why we are having challenge in production, and so they have to, ration power so that everybody can get power bit by bit. I mean, telling people the reality on the ground so that people can prepare. What are they saying? They are saying that it is doomsday. They are always giving terms to issues without accepting responsibility. So for me, this government, I think now everybody is aware of them. Nobody really takes them serious, especially His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, because he says one thing in opposition, and when he's in government, he does another thing altogether. I mean, I am so surprised when I hear him say that when he comes, he will make sure that he will reduce tax. When he comes, he will make sure that he fixes. Now you are in the realm of affairs. Why is he not able to demonstrate his ability to resolve this issue? Look, the reality is that when you take transport, when you take trotro, and you are moving, let's say, from here to any place, it is the mate that controls the driver. It is the mate that tells the driver that move. It is the mate that tells the driver that stop. There are times the driver is moving and the mate will hit the car and tell you that stop because there's a passenger. So the driver the mate has more influence on the driver than the driver himself, even though the driver just, steer the wheel.
Even than what a spare driver does.
But the decision that,
No, I want to know.
You see? You see, the reality is that they are just run away from the responsibility. You see, that's why I said, when you blame Mahmoud Bawumia, His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, he tells you, no, it's not my fault. It is the driver's fault. Then when you go to the driver will tell you, oh, I got idea. You remember His Excellency Nanado at a speech one day touted Bawumia as an economic whiskey. And it is because of that he's bringing him on board. When Mahmoud Bawumia joined the MPP, he wasn't a staunch MPP member. And His Excellency Nanado convinced the Council of Elders and the powers that be that, look, this is the man that will help us to fix the economic situation or the economic challenge in the country. And in various platforms, he touted this man as an economic messiah. But as we are talking now, the man has run away from the economy. He is now touting himself as an IT expert. We all know that Mahmoud Bawumia has more than 6 economic advisors. And yet, with all these brains around him, he could not use this brain to fix the economy. He is running away, and he's now talking about being an IT expert. And you have MPP communicators telling you that, look, the IT is...
I don't think he has said that he's an IT expert.
When he gets any opportunity on any platform, he talks about digitalization.
Yeah, but that doesn't make him an IT expert.
But you see, the issue is that...
A policy that probably he's embarking on with advisors. Yes.
But you see, they have made it, at a point he even said that he was the one that brought digitalization. There were times he said that passport office, they were the one who started it. He talked about the digital court or where the court system is now also being, and all these things were done before they came to power. The national ID, he said he was the one who did it. Meanwhile, before he came, a lot of IDs were printed. They had taken biodata of, huge numbers of people before they won power. But he was trying to take credit for this. Even that he's even taking credit. As of today, there are a lot of people who, went through the process of their biodata being taken, and they cannot still get their ID, national ID card, after several attempts to get.
In fact, I did my registration in 4 days, and when I had to go and check to get my card, I gave them the prior information for them to check, so I don't double enter. Yeah. Because if I double enter, it might cost me. And when they checked, they actually found my data. And so it was based on that data they used to print my card.
Exactly. Yeah. But here is the case. He made people believe that he was the one who brought national ID into Ghana. But these are all not true. So you see, consistency is very important. And as a leader, being honest, being truthful to your people is very important. Credibility is very important. But what His Excellency Mahmoud Bawumia is suffering today is the issue of credibility. Now, when he talks, nobody takes him serious because things he said in the past are just playing out to him. He said taxes hurts the economy. If you tax businesses, the businesses cannot grow. They cannot expand. It will mean that they cannot employ people and will have a downward spiral. Today, at the time he was talking, if a businessman invested 1 million Ghana cedi, if you convert that into a dollar term, it's $250,000. Today, that 1 million Ghana cedis, if you go to buy a dollar, you only get $75,000 or dollars. Look at the amount of depreciation. From $250,000 to $75,000. But this was the man who said what? If you tax businesses, they cannot grow. As we are talking today, we have a lot of businesses relocating. We have a lot of businesses that have collapsed. When you go to Game, I don't know if you've ever been to Game, you see the number of people that Game have employed. As we are talking, Game has folded up. And all this number of people have been added to the statistics of unemployment or unemployed people in Ghana. BIC has relocated. Just yesterday, we are hearing that Société Générale is also relocating. What does this mean to us? This means that all the people that are employed by this company are going to lose their job. This also means that people who are dependent on this individual will bear the brunt of this individual being unemployed. And see,
I saw someone write on Facebook or Société Générale had, earlier on exited other companies as well. So I actually sought to read about which countries. And what I found here is that it says that French banking giant Société Générale has exited the markets of Cameroon, Tunisia, Ghana as part of its move to focus capital in faster-growing regions it has announced. So according to the sources, SG has mandated investment bank Lazard to find buyers for the operators in these 3 African countries. So Lazard will work closely with SG to identify potential purchasers and negotiate sale terms. I also, try to read how people perceive the whole situation. And someone wrote something that was quite interesting to me. The person said that the local banks are getting stronger and are now driving out the foreign banks. I mean,
that is just mischievous.
I was wondering, okay, what data are you using? But I mean, I think it's worth considering. Are the local banks really indeed getting stronger?
How many local banks do we have? How many local banks do we have? How many local banks do we have? Look, Sometimes it's quite amazing when people refuse to see reality. At a time when countries were saving businesses by supporting them in terms of revamping or giving them funds to allow them pay back within time. We had our government, with the help of Bank of Ghana, collapsing banks, sending a lot of people home. They said we needed 9 billion Ghana cedis to save the banks. Our government, with the help of Bank of Ghana, spent 25 billion to collapse the banks. As we are talking today, there are a number of people who are still saying that they haven't received their money. So you ask yourself, the money that they use to clean the financial sector, where is it? Surprisingly, Annie, some of us believe that what is happening in Ghana is not just a coincidence, but it looks like there's a deliberate attempt to capture the country, to capture.
Like state capture, you mean?
Yes, various sectors. Oh. Some of us believe, and a lot of Ghanaians believe, that the financial sector cleanup was part of a strategy to capture the financial sector. You remember at Forsen said the finance minister at the time came and wanted to buy his bank. And he asked a question, that if the bank was struggling, if the business was that bad, why did he propose or make a proposal to buy the bank? Indum is in court today saying that they wrongfully collapsed his business. Now, when you read Ejapade, you will see.
I'm not thinking about
how
Ejapade document.
Ejapade document.
Okay.
How they intend to capture the financial sector, and all what happened in 2018 are in the documents. And sometimes you ask yourself, you know what? These documents came out long before the 2018 and the happenings,
but has not been officially admitted by any group of people anyway.
In the Ejapade document, it indicated that they will find a way of making sure that the son of the minister to Osafo Mafu take over as the boss of SNIT. It is in the document. And somehow, miraculously, he happened to be appointed. And the issue is that when he's appointed, he will find his way to be on the board of EcoBank. What is this telling us? Are they trying to now capture that sector also? How come this document that was leaked years before happened to be playing out in reality if this is not a deliberate attempt or a deliberate thing that this government is doing? How come? How come that names that were mentioned in the document happen to be exactly what is playing out? So look, I believe that the sufferings that Ghanaians are going through is not just a coincidence, but it's just a deliberate thing. It is not just a coincidence that Ghana's debt has risen from 120 billion to 610 billion as of today. it is not surprising that today we cannot go into international markets to borrow. And look, Kennedy Japan is on record that this government and its officials are looting as if there's no tomorrow. When was that? I was just watching John Heath's show. He's talking about land grabbing. You go to land opposite Afrikiko. The buildings there are gone.
Opposite Afrikiko?
Yes.
Where the French embassy is. Oh, okay.
No, just by just by the police.
The road. The police.
Yes, the main road. And you ask yourself, who are behind this? Almost all government lands are going. The issue is, if predecessors shared government property as is being done today, would they come and meet anything?
Hold on with that. I'm going to get into the issue of land grabbing maybe pretty shortly, but let me take a break. Before that, I will give you this. I'll come to that because I think the issues that played out last week having to do with military officers being gunned down, policemen being gunned down, you know, and all is by civilians. Someone wrote something on my Facebook, and that struck me, actually. It's an adage that normally is used by your MP that is always about... what's his name? ABBEY Husseini.
Okay.
Yes, he says that if the lion is seen to be patronizing the market square, you treat it like a puppy.
Exactly.
And someone actually repeated it on my wall. And I thought that was very, very, very significant to take note of, because the military men and the policemen are now seen to be doing or to be engaged so much in these illegal activities, be it galamsey, be it land grabbing. They are the ones that are used as land guards. So the people have now decided to take the laws into their own hands and treat them like puppies, right? So let me do this. We'll come into that issue pretty shortly. So Kel 360 toothpaste, it says that, are you sure? Are you desperate of getting a toothpaste for the whole family? So I recommend a toothpaste for you. It's Kel 360 toothpaste approved by Food and Drugs Authority. And it also brightens the teeth and prevents cavity with the cool mint. It gives you fresh breath throughout the day and protects the gum from decaying. For consistency and quality, use Kel 360 toothpaste. Kel 360 toothpaste, another product for Samara Company Limited, and it's also available in all markets. Call them on 024-686-4798. Kel 360 toothpaste, happy smile. Lift and elevators also are still available on the market, and it comes with American pneumatic vacuum elevators, and you can request for a private installation in your homes and offices as well. You can also lift your goods. Lift and Elevators is located at Sakumono. You can call them on 0200-535515 or send them an email to elevators@gmail.com for consultations and best solutions. And also, let me remind you that Lift and Elevators can be installed within a period of 3 days, and they will do the work that they know how to do best for you in your homes. Let me take a break. When I come back, Hajia will take a bite, and then we get into the issue of the security men, land guardism issues that's arising. Looks like it's a time bomb that we're sitting on. We'll be back shortly. Alrighty, welcome back to the program. It's Good Morning Ghana, and Hajia Rabi has now joined us. Hajia Salifu, you're welcome. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
It's been war, eh?
Yeah, it's a war day.
Hair war started last night.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Your own started, I think, from your trip into the studio. But you're welcome.
Thank
you're
you,
welcome.
Annie. Thank you.
How
are you?
I'm fine.
Prof,
I'm fine.
How are you? Yes, that's.
It's not easy. Today I went to buy fuel and I kept looking at the gauge. As
in fact, when you buy the fuel, when you buy the fuel and you look at your gauge, you easily suspect the fuel attendant. But then it clicks.
Over the weekend, Saturday, I questioned the fuel attendant if they've adjusted their pump.
I mean, sometimes I look at them, it's like I want to accuse them, but I can't talk. Then
that we are an oil-producing country. It's just unbelievable.
It's just a phase, and all shall pass.
It's
just a phase.
These two shall pass.
It's just a phase. And look, Doc is saying 7 years. It's not 7 years. And we all know it's not 7 years. Look, we expect things to be far better than this. That I agree. But that doesn't say it's 7 years. To be sincere with you.
How many years?
We expect much, much better situation than this, which I am pretty optimistic.
You said better. It's as if, it was so bad and it's now,
it wasn't.
Better. But we are it's getting worse on daily basis. So you cannot say that things will get better.
Prof.
Because you should look at where we were in 2016 and where we are today.
Prof.
And then compare if it's getting better.
Russia-Ukraine war.
Prof. Sometime last year, mid last year, I was with Prof on GH1. She can clearly recollect. Prof gave all the projections and how the nation, the economy had already collapsed, how schools were going to shut down, how businesses were not going to be running, how people were going to even, lose properties, a lot of things. She prophesied. Unfortunately, her prophecies.
Somehow she was
I'm
right.
glad you're saying somehow. So for the sake of future and tomorrow, I will just plead with my big sister here that, look, she should take it easy.
Do you know why I'm saying somehow she was right?
Before she go and give prophecies that we would deem false prophecies.
I want an answer.
I don't want to call her prophecies false.
I think somehow she was right.
Why? Tell me.
We're just discussing businesses that are running away from us.
Hey, your face is shiny today. What is wrong with your face?
No, don't change the topic. Let's go to the
I don't know how she ended up on my face. Do you know how your face is looking like? You have been sweating since.
But God, it's understandable why I should be sweating early this morning. Anyway, Annie.
Yeah, well, before you come, I made a point.
Yeah.
And I mentioned it's actually
Atoasian.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was Atoasian's bank. Because at a point I was like, is it that I didn't hear Atoasian?
In my mind, I was mentioning Atoasian.
Anyway, okay, correct.
Yes. So look, honestly, it's not funny. It's not something we should undermine. But I think it's always very good for us to have a reality check sometimes. Just slow down and say, okay, so let me even do an audit of what exactly is happening to us. Very objectively, not even NDC, not MPP. Just pick a pen and paper, and Prof and Co, they know how to do it very well. You start from 2017. You look at the same indicators, inflation, even the taxation involved, our production, how we were doing generally as a country. And then at what point did we start to decline? Then when you are done with this, you now come to look at the response, how our system has been able to absorb the pressure to bounce back. Look, Annie, if you want to consider all that is being said, it is indeed true that we weren't even in normal times. We started recovering and we are recovering strongly. All is not lost. We still are feeling some of the impact. That is why somebody would tell you that, look, even if you are talking about the COVID levy, yes, we agree there is no more COVID as we saw, but the reality is that the impact is still being felt. I'm not justifying anything. What I am appealing to Ghanaians is that, look, we have been there. In assessment, it will be fair to look at the level of proactiveness, the level of commitment, ranging from how the president gave his posture or stood firm to come with Ghanaians on this journey, keeping us posted on all happenings, number of cases recorded, number of measures that we have put in place. Yes, there would have been some challenges along the implementation period, but it tells you that it is worth sitting to get some kind of solace in how the whole situation has been handled and was handled. And I will tell you, look, Ghana is not an exception. People will sit and make reference, even on fuel prices, and say Ivory Coast, wherever around us, our neighboring countries and all that. Annie, we are not where we are, and we are not enjoying exactly what we want to enjoy. But I'm telling you, we are doing the best we can as a country. Look at all the developmental projects we are seeing. To me this morning, it's more or less a parliamentary Hansard document. And I know Doc would always want to fact check. And our viewers, this is not just a small platform that you come and just say anything and go. You are subject to fact check. And that is why I will always come with a document that will speak to it. Annie, with all that we have gone through, with the pain, the pressure, having to console each other, having to update each other, having to reassure each other, we still went ahead to implement some tangible policies that people, including myself and Prof, directly and indirectly are benefiting. Annie, look at the number of roads and interchanges we have completed and freshly constructed. Today, I chose to just go strictly roads because most often you would hear people asking us that, look, what have you done and what have you done? We are talking about economic hardship, and I'm just bringing in a point to buttress what I have said. I am just telling you this morning, Prof, that all the same, although we have done that, or we have gone through all the pains, we have been able to actually give back to Ghanaians what Ghanaians will call development. When you just have a cursory look around this country,
I think because we're in the studio,
you will look at.
I couldn't tell that it was raining heavily, but
it is.
Some of our reporters have sent me videos asking that I should prompt viewers. If you're home and you haven't gone out yet, I think it's very windy and dangerous to be in the rain. To even be walking in the rain is dangerous. So if you can wait for some minutes and give notifications to your officers that you cannot because of the danger of how it's raining. I mean, you can attest to that, right?
Yes, I'm just coming. So that's why you were saying I'm sweating and all that. And I just didn't want to digress. and I want to bore our viewers and even yourself holding the show back, saying the stress I went through this morning. It's not been a very good day, but it's okay. We all go through sad days. But it's raining heavily. The Temamoto Way is quite congested at the moment. Having to maneuver through wasn't that easy. And then I was at some point telling my driver that, look, just watch. You can't see the edges properly. It's good we take our time, get to the studio, than to lose our lives and then what will happen again. But back to what I was talking about. Annie, we have constructed roads. We have constructed airports. We have constructed interchanges. And we have even come to complete interchanges that they have seen. I am just coming from Northern Region. I used some roads inwardly, township roads. And I was amazed. I did a video that is trending on TikTok that had to do with the Bimbila-Wulensi Road. Annie, this is Eastern Corridor Road, we may call it. I agree that the NDC started talks and negotiations on that road. But what I am saying is that as far as continuity and sustainability is concerned, we are proud to announce to Ghanaians that, look, that road that could lead you to the industrial hub of the northern Ghana that has to do with yam and cassava production is today freely being used. You can use it, you have no issues. The pregnant women are having that great relief of having been transferred from Wulensi to Bimbla or maybe to Yendi or to Tamale. Look at the drone delivery we are talking about. And look at the TVET. Look at the free SHS we are enjoying. Look at even Agric. Look, Annie, we have worked honestly, and Ghanaians are feeling it. I was telling somebody 2 days ago.
What you're saying, right? All that you're saying.
Yes, Annie.
We expect that we should have value for money.
Of course,
for
yes.
all that you have said.
Yes.
The roads,
yes.
hospitals.
Yes.
I mean, everything. We should have value for money. But it doesn't look like that's what it is.
I think it is.
No. Are you not struggling? Are you okay? Are you comfortable?
You see, as for the comfort, I would always say it over and over. Look, until we are all gone, until all is said and done, every human being, no matter what, I think the economists will tell you there is an economic theory. I'm trying, it's coming and going. I probably will get it. Human beings are of what? Unlimited needs.
Insatiable needs.
Of course,
okay, but
yes.
I mean,
so what I am telling
but
you
the point is that
Annie,
you cannot be moving from bad to worse.
We are not worse.
If the previous
Annie,
administration was bad, Oh, I mean, today we can't pay, we can't service
we are
our
not
debts.
We are not worse. We are sitting in Metro TV today, still talking.
Hold on.
Organizations have not been shut down.
With what? Doomso?
Workers are being, of course, but that doesn't.
We don't have Doomso.
Annie, let me come. Please, let's take it one after the other. Annie, please, let me take it one after the other.
Okay, let's take it one after the other. Do we have Doomso?
Can I come? I was on the floor, so let me land there. You come with your questions. What I am saying is that, Annie, even with all the projections and predictions people make, no institution in this country had its staff rationalized or sent home. No institution in this country had his gates or offices locked down because there wasn't running costs or any way of running these organizations. No, I'm not referring to 2016. I'm not making any comparison here. I am just telling you that the situation, she is talking about we getting worse. And I'm saying even upon all the predictions that were done, I can tell you, and we all agree that, look, people projected and predicted that the economy, including Prof, she said it on GH1, that we were getting to the end point and we are collapsing, we are crashing, and nothing was going to happen. But I am glad to tell viewers that we have every right. Not yet. We are not even going to crash after all. No, because I am telling all Ghanaians that, look, we thank God that due to how proactive we, the government and Ghanaians, have been on this whole handling and soaking pressure and addressing the issue till now that we have turned the corner, that, look, we know us as a country, we know ourselves that, look, we just don't give up like that.
Okay,
even if the naysayers...
There's a video I saw yesterday, and it hit me. I want you to watch that video.
Yes.
And tell me about it. It's still about the economy.
Okay.
And how we're struggling. So watch this video.
Yes, sure. Let's watch it.
Me order me market ya. Me pacho me pesa me kaje Nana Akufo-Addo say yen man na ye kofa oye wo Togo no. First no na mahama wo so no na o ma ye duty ne e de anwa ne ba. 12 cedis. Ne say ono no sa anwa gallon. Yanya duty 2 million. Say kura do so o me yan churo.
Nyanto base anwa gallon no. Mo fa no ho ahe. Mo de babeton wa ha ahe ena mo tua ho duty 200 Ghana cedis.
Me wa receipt bebre wo ha 12 cedis metimi ayi aba. By say o si 2 million. Me am to me kan anwa ya seize wo aflawa border. Ya seize man wa 500 me wo ho papers
500 and brambacho oh ada what said na eh 500 yen pieces saying
gallon no baako 500 Oma fawo ba o si anwa no me amfa me pese me bisa nanado ne ba o mi ase anwa na o mu sizi ye no o mu so o mu me amfa no o ma hye nana so o ma ye ne dan me pese me hu anwa no me ko ye ne ani ho enti no mu ye ne dan na me makwaji low na maji manwa baako 500 u bisa obi a wa ha ye fra me nanado maame ba ya feed ye se beto abade a mimi kwa kromoti na me de toma no na wasizi manwa no se kwa kromotie no ebe kire de meto ama no why obia ni me de dana do ma me asama mi kan mi wo me papers mi bibia o me a strong one people who be say obia ni me enti mi bi pesa mi bisa na na do ne ba o mi asama manwa no o ma sizi no e wan o ma hye na na se o ma hwiahwia gu
500 pieces Baako 500 hanum.
Aye. Me to baako 4 million wo. Wo si anya duty 200 cedis.
Dabio duty no o ye ne baako bia so ana.
Aye baako bia.
Na anwa no koto no 400. O ye hu duty 200. E wo baako bia ho. Wo ya wasan dia faka dia ba.
Si mi pese mi bisa ne say manwa no. O misa custom for say ada so mbeye duty ne makoje manwa. Se manwa 500 de me mfa nche wo.
Ukọ ho a wo mo agi anwa ne si ho no. Oko hako busa asa anwa no we no omo kan sen ne kire o
me kwae no omo si anwa no omo season
ba wan fo wani anhu ba bia anwa no gu
bi anhu ba ko a oba next day me san kwae no na to create a load anwa no
da bi nya to bose wo mu season anwa no e ka tro so o ma season ade a chin ya wo kwae no
afla ho bie mu no na to create a kasia besi ho a e load anwa no ne dan se mi hu sa wase anwa ne de a ene me kuma beto me yem.
All right, so that's quite a disturbing, I don't know, account from a market woman in the dummy market by one journalist, I think from Happy FM. I think I saw the logo there. And for those who are not so familiar with Akan, what she was trying to say is that she imports oil, and in the previous administration she was paying about 12 cedis duty on each bottle. Now she's paying 200 cedis on each bottle. One time she wasn't able to pay, so the customs officer seized about 500 bottles of the oil or of the consignment she brought in. Now, she doesn't know what the 500 bottles are being used for. The last time she went to check, maybe she was to pay the duty and clear them, the oils were not there. So she wants to know, are the oils being taken by the custom officers or they have burnt it? In fact, she said in the video that if they burn it, she'll be comfortable. But if she knows that somebody has taken
and it's on record.
And she said she's called Nanaduma. You know, actually, that's what hit me, because then she is obviously a sympathizer of Nanado. So she said she's called Nanaduma. If you go to the market, everybody knows her as Nanadumami. So she's really disturbed that that's being done to her. It made me think that these customs officers, what do they do?
Good.
You know, what do you call them? The ports and the barriers where they actually meet these traders. Why do they treat them that way? Where are the 500 bottles of oil?
Annie, Mommy Kose, if she's watching us,
and this is all about taxation.
I am telling her, Kose, Annie, I understand where she's coming from, and I know it's about taxation and everything. But you see, going into what she said and going by her own words, I liked the point where she herself mentioned the customs. I agree that there is a body that regulates all their activities. But let's also look at it this way. Personally, I'm hearing it for the first time. And this is just a report we are all getting. We haven't actually gone to the source. We want to presume that what this woman is saying is true. Is that not the case? However, I am just telling her sorry, because for a woman of her caliber, doing such scale of business and getting her goods compounded in that quantum is worrisome.
Very, very, very.
And I feel bad for her, and I'm telling her sorry. And I wish I could just get time to follow up on this story to facilitate how best we could get her oil back, or for her to also do the right thing. You
as we are all assuming, I want to assume that other colleagues may face or may have faced the same.
But here's the case. This is we are talking in context of what she has said.
That's true, yeah.
And we can't have the time to go after or with anybody or all the women that are going through this. I see it from the flip side, both sides, that as far as she is saying that, look, I don't know what's wrong with what has happened to my oil, whether they've burnt it or all that. I am also interested in knowing, I'm not saying that's what she did, whether she went through the right channel. Some of these women and men, business people, they get their goods compounded, and what they do, and look, I'll bring in what happened to me this morning. Annie, let me digress a little. When I was coming, I happened to rely on a Picanto vehicle that I was auctioned to. It was an auction sale, and I went for it. Now, when we got to Fiesta Royal, just by NPA, the traffic lights there, those in white, MMTU. MTTU.
No, MTTD. They are now a department of the
good.
police service.
One of them stopped me. Then I stopped. I even rang you. You were on loudspeaker, I told you. They said, Madam, I have intersected your car. Then I said, oh, really? I said, okay, can you look at this? I am going for a program on Metro TV. This is myself. This is the time. In fact, I'm already late. Can you come with me? I'm not arguing with you. Let's go to the station. Then you then proceed with the young man driving me. Whatever it is, I'll come with the required documents. Then we'll talk about it. Right. I didn't argue. Then he sat in the car. Then we went to, he said, no, I am just taking. I said, gentleman, look at the times. So I rang you. You remember? Then we had the conversation. At the end of the conversation, fast forward, it even went on to benefit me, because you know why? I asked him, sir, can you educate me on what you are doing? Because I don't understand. He said there is something wrong with the number plate. I have no idea. He said, who registered it for you? I said, I went to the office to register. Did you pay for that? I said, yes, I have documents for everything. And it's true, everything is documented. Can you provide? I said, it's not here. So what I can do is to leave the car with you The gentleman will go back to the house. Then we can provide you with all needed. Then he said, okay, madam, you let me alight here. Take my number, then we can talk about this later. Now, why I had to even digress to this is that, look, it's one thing getting your goods taken or being compounded, and it's the other having that energy. I'm glad she said she did a follow-up to see, and then I think she said she can't find the oil or she doesn't even know what's happening with the oil and all that. Now, the point is, I am appealing to the custom officers. We have heard over and over issues about how some of them behave in terms of malpractices. And look, I will tell them it comes back to government. It comes back to the communicators seated on this desk. It comes back to the party sympathizers. And it goes back to that woman who saw something good about the NPP and voted for NPP. So if you take her through this stress, she probably might not know that it's not directly linked to President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Someone will argue that, yes, President Mills went to Tema Harbour and did all his enquiries. He spoke to the custom people. He gave them his warning and all that. Yes, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has also done his bit by pushing for systems to be put in place for tracking of all the inflows and all transactions that is going on here. But Annie, I can tell you on authority that we still have human beings in the system that are able to beat the system, that are able to go behind the system and do their own thing. So I am in a point here appealing to everyone, all stakeholders involved in this, that look, nobody should go home with a pained heart. If you're doing your work, do it professionally, do it very well. And if the woman's oil, whoever is keeping the oil, who knows, maybe coincidentally the person might even be watching this program.
Yeah,
I am just appealing that.
I'm looking at it from different angles, like you're saying, looking at it from sides.
Sure.
The oil, the woman is imported into the country. Are they legal goods? Are they allowed?
I asked that question subtly. I just didn't want to push it. No,
it's fine. Yeah. It's fine. I mean, it's fair to look at it from that angle because we haven't seen the goods anyway.
Yes, of course, we haven't.
Then another thing you may want to consider is, are they really paying 200 Ghana cedis? Because sometimes, the customs officers can also, outwit a bit. Sometimes. So are they really paying from 12 cedis to 200 cedis? Yeah, it's something that we really, as you said.
We would want to follow up on that.
So are they paying that amount, And
if yes, could we even look at the level of their scale and what incentives could, because look, the muscles are not certainly the same. A big company that runs tons of this oil might, of course, not feel it paying 200 per gallon and all that. But her level, if indeed it's true, do we want to look as policy implementers, look into how best we could look at, for now, we are sounding quite speculative, which is not too nice, because we haven't actually gotten so deep into the
but it's also good because you're exposing
I agree.
The issues that is hitting directly
of course,
the Ghanaian.
We are asking all the questions this morning. Is it the case? And if indeed is the case, do we want to look at how we can incentivize the happenings and work of these people? And I'm glad that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will always tell you the vulnerable, the marginalized. And sometimes he gets so specific with women, and more especially women traders. You saw him when he went to this same Domi market. Some of the women were just around him, hugging him, thanking him. And I was telling somebody, look,
they do it to all of them. When Mahama goes, they do the same.
So do you know what?
Nadu goes,
I certainly would tell you it's so natural of this woman's reaction. When NDC is there, MPP is there, you always have people raising issues like this. If you say it's natural, I'll equally come back and say what she's saying is natural. But for me, it's not time to sit and give that posturing that, she shouldn't. We are getting into the issue. I am just using that as an example, which is most relevant to this conversation we are having. That, look, it is true that these same women are in the heart of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. It is true that these women are also in the heart of His Excellency, the incoming President of the Republic, Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia. So what I am saying is that it is worth going deep into this whole issue. Maybe Fourth Estate might want to investigate in that as well, because they are very good at fact-checking and findings on issues. You said it's probably not she alone. No, Annie, you said it. You said she might not be the only one. You said it. And who knows? As she has come to talk, you probably will not know the number of people, and may not know the truth behind it. Who knows if it is just some officer who is just deliberately frustrating this poor woman? You wouldn't know. So it is worth investigating and checking, and also apportioning blame where it is due.
It's easy to do because she says if you come to the market and you call her name as Nana Dumame.
No, I'm not saying she's lying.
Everybody
I'm not referring to the woman.
Her. And it's good that she even gave that identity. So that if government finds it, government finds it important to even investigate, it's easy to get to her.
It's easy to get
and she will trace you to the custom officers where her goods were impounded and everything.
So of course we should have interest in this particular happening, because where we are as a country is at a point where we are bouncing back. We are working so hard to stabilize the economy. We are working so hard to tell Ghanaians that we do care, and we are appealing to Ghanaians to remain more resolute and patient, because it is not just us as Ghana, it is the globe. And in our case, what makes our case beautiful and where we all draw our solace from is the fact that we have a proactive system. When the IMF looked at our PCPEC, their post-COVID recovery plan, what we intend to do in terms of revenue mobilization, what we intend to do in terms of production in country, what we intend to do in terms of consuming our own goods and services. They were so impressed, and they will come and say, look, the target of 1.5% that we gave you, you have even done in the first quarter 3.2, and second quarter 3.3, and now 3.9. That is telling you that, Annie, yes, we would come and lament, but the government is doing all it can. And I was telling Prof the other time on GH1 on,
you know what surprises me? How we will never go to the IMF has translated into praising IMF for all that
Change
we
is
are doing.
unabated, Annie. Change is unabated.
Okay.
And I'm landing on this point. What I am saying is that I was telling Prof that, look, we have to always look at the whole issue generally. We said, look, this is where we are. What has government done? We came to say we are looking at expenditure cuts. Today, when we were going to the UN General Assembly meeting, Annie, would you believe the whole of MPP had only 3 party representatives? But in the past, we saw how both NDC and MPP would pick delegation.
How many people went to the COP?
Oh, the COP, good. We will come there. Did you see the document that told you? The COP, they did it such that when you are registering, it will tell you whether you are from Ghana and all that. But if you look at the report that even came from the COP20 in Dubai, isn't it? It will tell you even all the people that came as Ghana delegation still had segregation of some being financed by NGOs, some paying individually, some paying by philanthropists.
Were how many?
Look, we might want to check. Currently, I don't have it, but we can check and come back. But what I am telling you is that the big workshops we used to have, now where you even want to do a workshop as a department of government, you need to take it through the office of the chief of staff. And now you can count the number of V8s, government office V8s on this road. And even the saloon cars that will consume the country more. You can count them on the road. We have withdrawn all, and it is said clearly that until it is approved for cross-country operations, don't use it. Today, Dr. Mahmoud, Inshallah, President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is on the street. It just came in my mouth. You see how true he's going to be. He is doing his tour, and you can see that he is in the bus, touring the country. Because
that video.
Don't let us play it.
Because he doesn't want... Wait, that video you are talking about.
Which one?
Which one? I don't know which video. But if it is a video I know, there is truth to it.
I don't know about any video.
Perfect. But what I am telling you is that today, whether you laugh about it, you find it funny, it is saving Ghana a lot, because some other country, a person who is heartless, some other person who doesn't care about Ghana, some other person who doesn't care about development would have come to say, look, I am the vice president. He'll go and pick the V8s. He'll go and pick all the luxurious cars and start touring the country. He hasn't done that. He says, no, I am a very reasonable person. I care for Ghana. I am coming back to rule Ghana and to improve on all that we have done. So, Annie, I'm telling you that, look, we have even got to a point of cutting 30% of our appointee salary. Today, Prof knows, and she would attest to the fact that the NDC opposition MP who is seated in Parliament is taking the same salary as the minister who doubles as an MP. So you can see how realistic and moderate we are trying to be,
no, but
to be able to
someone
support.
To solve the problem you created.
It's not about solving the problem.
Why are you mentioning MPP?
I am telling you what
minority MPs.
Then you are not probably you are not too interested in what I'm saying.
And so
I am telling
they
you,
should all come on board.
They are not. We don't even need a dime from them. We don't need that. Nobody even created any problem. I am telling you in response to what is happening. This is what we have also done, because people like Prof, concerned citizens, and journalists like yourself will come and say, "So what have you done?" And what have you done is what I am answering this morning.
Okay, yes.
So,
Prof, okay, you
see,
ahead.
Honestly, talk is so cheap. And so that is why Baumia in 2016 was all over giving lectures. Now, the mantle has been given to him. And he's struggling. Look, I'm so surprised that she's blaming custom for what the woman
I didn't blame them. No.
But what the woman is lamenting is the reality on the ground.
I didn't blame them.
We were putting it in context. Because, look.
No, I didn't blame custom.
Look, she's like, oh, maybe the custom officers are even charging something that is not the
Yeah, she said they don't know that.
But you see, the woman...
No.
Yes, but you listen, the woman said, when Mama was in power, they were paying 12 Ghana cedis for the same gallon of oil. Today, they are charging her 200 Ghana cedis. So you buy oil 400 and you duty alone is 200. This is minus transport. How much is she going to sell and make profit out of it? Look, now they have seized her goods. She can't even trace where the goods are. Not too long ago, we heard about instances where an importer, somebody imported rice into this country. 10,000 bags of rice. The goods were seized. Not too long, we were told that His Excellency, an official from His Excellency Mahmoud Bawumia's office, wrote a letter and took the 10,000 bags of rice and shared it. Letterhead, Mahmoud Bawumia's letterhead was used to write a letter. And 10,000, somebody
you know academics, money. You know how people can do things.
Was taken for free. Just now, she's talking about she bought an auction car. And I just asked myself, look, you go to the street. How many cars do we have? She said 2024. Can barely count them.
No, have you seen
very few of them?
Have you seen them?
Today she's talking about she has auctioned a car. You realize that we're asking that so how come they don't put the auction out there that we are auctioning for the public to know?
Why would they even? But now
why would they give the people who imported the cars?
We're talking about biometric machines. What is that not the case?
So can you allow me?
Auction is a legal process.
So allow me to talk.
So don't want to.
Why would we not allow the people who imported the car the right to first be the ones to buy the car?
But this give them the opportunity because
they imported the opportunity to buy their own car. Look, what is happening is just to say that the taxes on commodities is just too much. These people promised us that they were going to change the narrative of taxation to production. They were going to reduce taxes. Not only have they increased taxes, but they have introduced new taxes. And now they've introduced over 40 new taxes. So look, this government is a failed government. They have failed and they are just refusing to even accept responsibility. That's why she's talking about it is custom. Customs are just implementers. You are the one that formulates the policy and they just implement it. If you increase tax, won't custom take the tax you have implemented? You talked about they are committed. What commitment? Committed to issues that they are even running away from. How can you be committed to solve a problem when you do not even believe that the problem is there? At the moment we are talking about do so, they are refusing that there is do so. So how do you solve it? You can only solve it when you acknowledge that the problem exists. So for me, this government have failed us woefully. And as for His Excellency Mahmoud Bawumia, as I said, these days when he talks, it's like the young guys are just laughing at it. I just sent you a video of when he was coming, how these, young guys were virtually making mockery of him because they have seen that he's not a serious man and he's somebody that cannot entrust the governance of this country.
Right.
Because in opposition, he preached one thing, and now that he's in government, he's not able to solve our problem, rather have worsened our condition.
Let me just do this quickly. We don't have a lot of time. I'll see if we can go to the security issue. So what does world mean to you if you want to live like a tycoon? Remember, who's got the mullah got the power. Ghana's newest lottery game draws on Adom TV, 9 a.m., 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. daily. So pick up your phones and tablets and download the Game Power Games app on your Play Store, or you can also play on the website. Is at www.gamepowergames.com or dial *946# on all networks. Just choose from numbers from 0 to 9, and it's easy to play, easy to win. Charlie, make we play this game and make some moolah, it says. And play responsibly. Is regulated by the National Lottery Authority and not for persons under 18. Now, Betway Cash Out says that Ayesoko, Betway is giving you more control over every trillion bet you place. Enjoy the biggest and most reliable cash outs in Ghana on Betway without any hassle. So sign up today on betway.com.gh. And also, it's not for persons under 18, regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more. Now, Blue Jeans energy drinks also been on the market for 20 years, and it contains nutrients like vitamin B2, B3, B6, B12, taurine, and guarana, and they're also known to boost your strength and energy as well as promote high performance and endurance. Blue Jeans energy drinks has been tested and tried on the market, and it is also indeed best. Blue Jeans energy drink is for bold and active men and women who go on, grab a cold can today and power your day. So if you want to bulk purchase, you want to call Budget Cash and Carry Limited on 0208 128 190 or 055 001 0000. That's for Blue Jeans energy drink. So the quick one before we wrap up on the security issues. That is, I personally found it very disturbing. Let me use this opportunity to maybe share the little knowledge I have with gunning down a police officer, a security officer. I found myself going back and forth with some of you on social media, and that's because of what you also thought my post was about. The fact that I say that it's bad enough to kill a security officer doesn't mean that it's okay to kill a civilian. No, don't think that way. When you do that, you are just disappointing me, you know. So security men, police officers, military officers are responsible for you. They're supposed to take care of you. In their way of taking care of you, they are assigned a number of civilians. So for example, if I take myself as a security officer, as a police officer, or a military man, I am assigned, say, about 1,000 civilians that, you are giving like 1,000 persons to take care of. The moment you kill me or you eliminate me, what you should know is that those 1,000 people that are assigned to that security man are exposed to the same type of murder, whatever it is. Please, you get it. So that nobody, sort of finds a way attacking me unnecessarily. You don't understand what's going on. You just don't know that is what it is. And that's what we call it, a ratio of police to citizen ratio or military to citizen ratio.
The police to citizen as of 2022 is 1,200 to a civilian.
Exactly. It used to be about 1,000. It used to be 1 to 500 or something.
No. The UN standard.
Okay, the UN standard is 1 to 500. Okay.
But we are doing, as at 2022, is 1 is to 1,200.
Okay.
That is to tell you, yes, the ratio is not that balanced.
That is in 2022.
2022.
Okay. So that is what it is. So if you check the ratio of security officer to civilian and you gun them down, you are exposing your own selves. It's as simple as that. That's what it means, all right? So just briefly, what we experienced last week, it was a military man gunned down by some land guard, we're told. And then 2 police officers also, in Ajigano, Trasacco, were also killed by same civilians and all. The police says it's investigating. But that is, the disturbing bit is what I don't like. And I sort of, found it a little interesting when a national security, Ministry for...
National security?
No, not national security. the Ministry
of
Defense. They came out with, not Ministry of Defense, it was...
it's a release from National Security.
No, Ministry of National Security. Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's a release
from National Security.
Telling us that
now,
the young man
the release,
that is being... You know, there is a stipulation on Facebook and other social media handles that the man who did the shooting is an officer or a staff of the National Security.
Yeah.
So they came out to issue that disclaimer that, look, this young man...
He is not.
It's not Ben Lord ABBEY, that's his name. This Ben Lord man is not a staff of the National Security. And I don't know if you did a printout of that statement. I have a soft copy of it.
I have a soft copy.
That's what they are saying, that, look, he isn't our staff and we don't even know him from anywhere. So that's what the National Security is saying.
My issue, okay, Doc, I think you can go. I was just raising the point about the fact that the National Security Ministry cannot just release a statement and tell us he's not a member of the National Security
But they made reference. They spoke with reference to what they have seen on social media handles.
Okay.
That the man is purported to be a staff of
just wait, when it's your turn, then you
they are sitting, so the National Security is sitting in
so I shouldn't even provide information.
Looking at what's going on social media.
No, so I shouldn't provide information.
Hajia.
No, I'm asking so I shouldn't provide information.
And
so I'm speaking to you.
So the National Security.
She's always
stopping me from talking to you.
No, I've seen through your moves. Prof, go ahead.
Yes. I mean, honestly, it's a serious issue, and we are all just sitting on a timing bomb. You know, civilians attacking military or security officials. I think it's a very dangerous and a very slippery route that we are going as a country. But we are where we are today. I think there is an underlying factor, and this underlying factor is the level or the amount of brutality that we have witnessed over the years. I can give you a series of instances where we've seen brutality of civilians by security officials. We talk about Ayawaso West Wago by-election. What happened over there? Where security officials more or less molested civilians. We also witnessed in Ejura what happened when a group of individuals were, just demonstrating to bury their own. What happened? And people were shot, crowd was shot into. Not too long ago, we witnessed also a similar incident in Wa, where a military officer's phone was stolen, and so the military just went on rampage. Anybody they lay hands on were beaten and molested. Again, a similar incident happened in Ashama, where people were sleeping. Military men just went on rampage, brought out people who were fast asleep, beat them, made them to roll on the floor. I mean, some of the pictures, when you look at them, you ask yourself, are we in Ghana? Is this Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana? And all these incidents, we are good to say that we are forming a committee to do investigation. And as at now, we are not informed about what measures they've taken to punish the perpetrators or people who have committed an unlawful act. They punished. These issues are investigated, and that is all. The security are supposed to be friends to civilians. When you go to Boko, the citizens or the people there at a point accused the military of now brutalizing the people, or they were more or less one-sided, supporting one side against the other. So all these underlying factors seems to be the reason or the cause of what we are seeing today, that a civilian will be able to take a gun and shoot a security official. I mean, this is unacceptable. But again, I just, outline some of the underlying factors. That instead of we seeing security officials as our friends, normally when you are going to a place that you do not know, and you see a policeman, you feel safe. You feel you can go to him or her and ask that, oh, I'm looking for this direction, or I'm going here. How would I get there on my way through? But now we are seeing these people as threats. We are seeing them as enemies. And it is so because the government or the institution that is supposed to take action when there is a need for them to do so are not doing it.
What action?
For example,
but you see, in this,
Emily Short Commission was constituted to investigate Ayawaso West Wako. They made some recommendations. What happened to the recommendation? Nanado and his people came and said that Emily Short Commission didn't even understand the terms of reference they gave them. They rubbish it with a white paper that all what they recommended, they were not accepting it. The Jura election, a Jura incident, what happened? You didn't see anything happening. At the sad thing is that I remember very well there was this doctor that they interviewed. Somebody, was sent to the hospital and he tried to explain how the bullet got to the person and the fact that the person, it was a targeted shooting. It wasn't that they shot into the air as the military officials indicated. What happened? That doctor was transferred. That was his punishment for speaking to truth. So I am just saying that, look, as a country, we are on a very slippery and a very dangerous ground when civilians see our military officials or our security officials as ordinary people, because these individuals engage in acts that civilians see as very dangerous or detrimental to their very existence. And it's also so because of sometimes the recruitment process. Not too long ago, there was an MP, I've just forgotten which constituency, who was boasting of having helped to recruit a number of his constituents. How did the constituent get into the security services? How did...
Is it not something that all governments do? Every government that comes seems to have a protocol list.
But you see,
protocol list.
For this government, I think it is just out of the roof. It is just out of the roof, because we've seen instances where even robbers were linked to national security operatives. And sometimes you ask yourself, you are saying, There was an incident where a robber was killed. I cannot remember the name of the person. And they brought out all his ID. These things are on social media.
Oh, but you are talking of ID when people can easily forge documents. Documentation thing and everything.
I also
you know how people can forge documents.
The guy who slapped Sam George. Happened to be traced as somebody who was selling phones and was a circle and was also known as an MPP activist. Today, he is recruited into the security. You see, when they say things like this, they just try to rubbish it and push it under the carpet. But the reality is that if we do not follow due process to recruit people into the security, because at the first place, you are supposed to do background checks. And sometimes you find land guards, you find armed robbers going into the security services.
But actually, the truth is that I think the fact is that we are not even interested. We are not interested in the process because we know what we're about. So we are not interested.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying that it is dangerous, because if you find somebody who is known as land guards, and for example, they have their own way of behaving into the security, they send that same behavior into the security, and because of one person, the security service is seen as just any ordinary service. So now the civilians see
because
them
of time.
As
let me have
Hadia come in.
This guy that national security actually came out that he was not a part of national security. Now this story says that the charge sheet put before the Achimota District Court on Ben Lord ABBEY has been held for allegedly shooting the killing, who has been held for allegedly shooting and killing a soldier at Millennium City, is said he is a national security operative. In the charge sheet, they said he is. Yes.
Who normally would write in the charge sheet?
That's
the charge sheet. Who writes in it?
Who normally writes in the charge
sheet?
Who writes the charge sheet?
Well, I'm asking you.
Who writes the charge sheet? You go and give your accounts. The police will also present the charge sheet to do. Yes.
So if he comes to say, I am operative of the national security, then the national security comes to tell you he is lying. We don't even know him. That's all that it means. Now, let me even come to the whole thing. And you see, since from PNDC, we have seen the military have total control of the civilian. And somebody would tell you, even the uniform of a soldier man is like a weapon.
Yeah.
That's where we were coming from. I agree that, yes, fortunately, we going into democracy and having that transition of same military leader coming to now be the first president of our fourth republic, and now having that kind of, like, someone would say, cordial relationship among ourselves. Now, the 1992 Constitution has clearly stated it in chapter 15 and 17. 17.3 states clearly that the armed forces shall be equipped and maintained to perform their role of defense of Ghana, as well as such other functions for the development of Ghana as the president may determine. That's for the military. Then 15 will tell you that the Constitution of Ghana is very clear on the role of uniformed men in our democracy. Chapter 15 of the 1992 Constitution stipulates that there shall be a police service of Ghana which shall be equipped to perform its traditional role of maintaining law and order. It is clear. That of the military says including other functions that has to do with development of Ghana. And that brings us to taking them to go and fight issues of galamsey, getting them involved in maybe rescuing people during disaster, getting the military doing other activities that is deemed the same, clause that the Constitution is stating. Now, my point is, you said something very profound. Must the uniformed man reduce him or herself to where he or she will be ridiculed? No. If you are professional enough, if you know your code of conduct, if you know your ethics, there are some things that can never happen to you. It is sad that we got on the 4th of June the case of Sheriff in Ashaman. The blessed Maxwell Mahama, we saw what happened to him in that cold blood. Today is this man. It is a very sad one. That shouldn't be encouraged. And that's a very bad practice. And I wish to say my sincere condolences to all their families and all of us, because we have lost 3 great men, including that of police service, who have also lost their lives. Now, what would have caused this issue of battling with police and all that has to again do with, maybe I would put it in a tripartite form to say the stakeholders involved. The uniformed men themselves, the government, and the civilian. Now, how do we all take our roles out of this? The government has actually made sure, in terms of the maintenance and the resourcing of these bodies, in the 4th Republic, from 1992 till date, when you go to check, you would know on record that there hasn't been any government that has accommodated the police enough. There hasn't been any government that has resourced in terms of armored car, the military, like this government. There haven't been any government that has provided skill training. And last time I was mentioning to you that today, when you are even jumping traffic on our roads, you are very mindful and skeptical, because these guys are well equipped. We see them on their motorbikes. Visibility is clear and everything. Now to the civilian. The gentleman is on the ground doing his work. Why do you want to take the law into your hands to an extent of shooting and killing him? Granted, he is even wrong. Is killing the way to go? No. So we don't have to do that as civilians. Now the uniformed men themselves, you are in an area where you are trained. And I'll go back to the point of entry Doc was referring to. If indeed that there are protocol lists, or there is a protocol list that runs through all government. You can't say this morning and say an NPP does it worse, and NPP does it.
The guy who did the shooting held a press conference. I don't know if it was a press conference or whatever.
Okay.
Spoke with the journalists, and I think we have that video, where he was explaining that he has his land, and his land is being forcibly taken away from him.
Good.
And he mentioned names from the vice president's office.
Good.
And he threatened that he would do anything and everything to protect his land, his property.
Good.
So there was threats. So to what exactly? So to what you are saying, what intelligence were gathered from the ground, from a military officer
for you
point of view? Yes, what intelligence did you gather? You know, to have just gone into the because
on your own.
When civilians also feel
attacked or under duress, they are doing anything under duress or depressed or something.
Yeah, I don't know what what to use. You know, they kick
suppression
back
when
they feel suppressed.
Yes.
You know, they would revolt.
So that is where I am coming to.
It's happening.
That's what
it's happening in little degrees, and it might actually develop into
and
subtly.
You see, that is where I have problem with some of us communicators. When issues of this matter comes, yes, it is fair to be partisan about it, but always look deep into the whole issue. You are talking about a national security personnel being gunned down and the ID cards. For God's sake, you are a professor in a university. You are academia, maybe. What I am saying is that we all know about how people are very proactive in terms of forgery. Today, somebody can impersonate.
So did we?
What we are saying is that
it is you are attacking the profession.
I am saying.
So hold on. So now I'll ask you.
Yes,
since you are attacking a professional cutting, so did we investigate this guy who claimed that we saw ID cards?
So have we
come out to report?
Have we come out to report? You even got it wrong. Look, you just jumped. You just concluded, and that's not fair to me. What I am saying is that, given where she is coming from, she would have been used to this issue of forgery of results, issue of forgery of documents.
So you are saying that there's no.
I am just telling you.
I want you to establish.
I am just telling you. So let me learn.
No,
if you allow me to learn, you know where I'm coming from.
Since you are alleging,
so have we verified? Have we verified? That's the question. Let me help you.
ID cards were forged.
Have we verified? I am coming. Even before I come to whether we verified or not, I am telling you that given where we sit, it is only fair not to be conclusive by saying, he is this, he is this. I am just reminding all of us that, look, sometimes people do forge. However, it is subject to investigation. So the task that normally people get, the uniforms that people wear to go and do robbery operations are mostly being investigated. That is why you would have the police service.
How long will it take to investigate a guy who has forged the national security? You see, I don't know. You see, it should be a serious offense.
If you ask me how long will it take, that's subject to another day discussion.
For me, sitting here, to go and forge a national security ID until now, a report has not come to actually establish the fact.
Annie, this morning you are not allowing me land. If you take time and come with me, when I land, you can ask all your legitimate questions. Prof, let me come, whether tangent or not tangent. So what I am telling you is that, look, when such is happening, civilians shouldn't take the law into our hands. When we see issues of suspicion, whether it is taking 1,000 years to be investigated, it's taking a day to be investigated, let's be sure before we speculate. Okay. That's my point.
Okay, but Mark from USA says that, hello, Annie, please tell NDC prof. She's not an NDC prof, she's a prof. That Vice President Bawumia flew to Accra on that fateful Thursday.
He didn't even use that route. I wanted us to discuss that video. He's been in the Western region, connecting. He didn't even go. At that set,
Mansa Musa from UK also said that.
You are sharing information that you haven't verified. Me, I don't talk about things like that. If you speculate,
the message is too long.
It depletes your quality of submission. No, I'm just saying. Look, if you speculate, Annie, that's why most of the time I'll tell you, Annie, let's not speculate, because look, if you take, you see the video the gentleman is correcting Prof on. He's telling you that said day. That said day.
Somebody says
the guy is telling you what you said is inaccurate.
Okay,
he's telling you that said day.
So that day they blocked the road was when?
Good. So let me tell you, I have a whole write-up and I can quote.
Nobody's interested.
I'm providing you that day. When he went to Western region, you see the tour he did from Central to Western came back and all that. That was when you see that said road. A tanker, it's a fuel tanker that broke on that road. And the young men there, they were even preventing commuters from approaching the zone.
Don't mind.
This is just 49 seconds. This is just 49 seconds. This is not enough for you to have the full story. This can't give you the true reflection. That's why I wanted to quote. And you go and fact check it.
It is the writing
so if Prof will just see a 47-second video. Perfect. I'll give it to you. If Prof will just see this video and come and sit and agree with whoever is saying, it is affecting her communication because she is somebody
Are you
we
the
all
one
look
now
up
to
to, and she
determine
shouldn't share speculative information.
What are you talking about?
Don't speculate.
people
Don't
drove-
speculate. I'm not ambushing her. She shouldn't speculate. She should verify. She should see the truth and come and talk about it. You
Look,
see, these
Hajia.
are senior communicators here.
Hajia.
I'll be back shortly. Who speaks and people watch us and quote us
Hajia,
and learn
what
from
you are
us.
saying,
So if you come to talk about what
everybody
is
knows
not
that.
true,
What?
Welcome back to the program. We're doing trends now, and Harry to me, you're welcome. Good
Thank
morning.
you very much. It's a wet Monday morning.
It is. It is.
So let's start with Good Morning Ghana, some of the comments that came in whilst the show was going on. So cut costs, yet we don't know where those monies go to. Evans Blay is asking, okay. Good. So some of these comments are quite slow. So the bus is being followed by V8. We are not blind. We can see. And I want to go live and then see whether if I can get some of the comments, since the way they edited this has made it quite slow.
I like election years.
I know. So talk is cheap, and Prof. Philip Frimpong Emmanuel is also saying that talk is cheap. I think that's what Prof said. And okay. Annie, so I think we will move on to, okay, so only in Ghana that COVID-19 tax is being charged. What a shame. Habib Bantus. And away from that, something very interesting. So Drake and Kendrick, do you know Kendrick Lamar? Mm-hmm. Drake and Kendrick, they are beefing, and it's a set the industry ablaze, not just Ghana, but Hollywood, and everyone is talking about it. So I'm not surprised that it's even trending in Ghana as well. It all started with Drake. Drake and J. Cole, they are friends, and then in a rap, Drake said that they are top three. That is Drake, himself, and then Kendrick Lamar. It didn't sit well with Kendrick Lamar because he feels he's the number one, and then he decided to, reply with another song. And when J. Cole felt that the heat was too much, he apologized. But Drake didn't apologize, and he came out with his. And Kendrick has been, doing a lot with the songs he's been releasing.
Drake, you're a pedophile?
Yes. No, people have been calling Drake a pedophile because...
Is he?
Yes. Well, allegedly...
You can't say.
I can't say, but allegedly he has been grooming young girls. Do you know Stranger Things? Millie Bobby Brown. I don't know whether you know her. She was quite
Bobby
young.
Brown's daughter?
Yeah. No, Millie Bobby Brown. She is an actor. Okay. She's acted in Stranger Things. Recently, Damsel in Distress. It's a movie on Netflix. So she was quite young when people realized that Drake and her were close. I mean, too close to be friends. And people have been saying that it's not the first time they've seen him talking to 16-year-old, 17-year-old. And so, yeah, they do call him a pedophile, although with no evidence. And when Drake, that is Kendrick Lamar, released his beef, that is Meet the Grahams, he said a lot. Drake also released his Family Matters, and he also said a lot about Kendrick Lamar. I mean, it comes with beef. They will talk about your children, your family, everything.
I see.
And it's been going on. So that is the comments you saw on there. And then lastly, ECG. I think for now, every day ECG is going to trend because it's always, I think it's getting worse. Because yesterday, I had light out like about 4 times. Just goes on and off. Lights go off, you say, hey, ECG. Fact is, ECG can't give you, okay, they've taken that one away. Dumso has even gotten worse. Way, Osikeni Impana, I like the name. Osikeni Impana says so. Hey, ECG, you will know no peace. ECG, you will know no peace. They said time is up, but yes. So, hey, ECG is trending. Drake is also trending, and then I gave you something from Good Morning Ghana. So
Thank you. But ECG,
but
if you're a lion and you patronize the market square, they will treat you like a puppy. This is message going to ECG. Okay.
But have you heard a song? There's a song for ECG. I had it, but because of time, we won't be able to play it.
I think I've heard it. But that's all time will allow us here this morning. Thank you, Harry, for
Thank
coming
you very
through.
much.
This has been Good Morning Ghana. Thanks for watching.